Good morning. Buenos días, everyone joining us today. I hope you are well and staying focused on what you can control. And happy November. My name is Patricia Mota, and I am currently serving as President and CEO for the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, a national nonprofit whose mission is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latinx talent, providing Latinos the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. I hope you have your cafecito ready to go to welcome our special guest that's joining us this morning and very dear friend for ASE is Liesl Downey, who is the Vice President for Institutional Advancement at Northeastern Illinois University, or as we call it, NEIU. Good morning, Liesl.
Good morning, Patricia, and thank you so much for the invitation. It is a pleasure to be here. Happy November, and I hope it looks like you've got your coffee and I've got mine. So,
salud, Liesl.
Salud.
Isn't it crazy? We're November already, right?
It is. I don't know what happened to October or really all of 2021, but here we are.
Here we are, Liesl, and thank you so much for taking the time. One thing we like to share with our audience that's joining us here on LinkedIn, on our other channels as well, is really get to know the background of our guests in terms of how they got to their career, their own trajectory. Buenos dias. So I just saw a couple comments coming in from Miami, from all ports, nationally and even internationally. So Liesl, tell us who you are.
Yeah, well, as you know, I mean, you did share that my current role is at Northeastern Illinois University. I am so proud to be working here as the Vice President for Institutional Advancement. And I'm also lucky to work as the Executive Director of the NEIU Foundation. So by way of who I am, well, I'm certainly a coffee person. So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like I have a French press situation at my house. We grind the beans and do all that kind of stuff. But okay.
That's my first. So let me go back to that first because we can't skip that for Cafecito con ACE. Is how do you like your cafe or your morning beverage of choice?
Right. So I tell you what, over the course of the pandemic, I don't know about you, Patricia, but like I became this coffee person, and we discovered way in the back of our closet we had a French press. So what is that? And so we learned that it's actually delicious. And so grinding the beans, like, you know, creating that French press, and then getting a couple mugs for my husband and I to start things off. That's our jam, and we like a pretty nice a kick in our coffee. So how about yourself?
Because I drink so much of it, it just has to be plain black coffee for the most part, because, you know, I don't want to get too much with the crema, or the cream or the sugar going on. But yeah, I try to every now and then in the afternoon when you're ready for that next cup of coffee, instead have tea. So that's
it's time to pivot to decaf, right?
Make sure it's not too much. But also, you know, one thing, and those of you tuning in, please have your questions ready. Any comments that you have for our guest who's representing a fantastic university that in fact is the first 4-year HSI or Hispanic Serving Institution for Illinois, right? Meaning that achieved, 25% students or greater of Latino students from Hispanic Latinx background, right?
Right, that's right. And in fact, 70% of our students here at Northeastern are non-white. We are ranked as, it's by US News and World Report, and have for a long while been the most diverse university in the Midwest. So we're extraordinarily proud of that. Right, we are an Hispanic serving institution and have been so since the mid-90s. And so 37% of the student body that we serve are Hispanic students. And so we have wraparound programming that supports them. Right. And so a lot of the students that we serve are certainly first generation in their families, so the first ones to attend university. So we're mindful of that, and we want to work with our students to create programs that really help them to, learn how to do university, how to, what are the steps that one needs to take in terms of study, finance, patterns that you need to have, how to access resources. So we're really proud of that. And right, so we are really looking forward to partnering with ASE as we have over the last several years to make sure that students are able to tap into your network as well, because it's so wonderful to have, early career professionals, while you're going through your education, mid-career, and then those that are seasoned reaching back. And it becomes this wonderful, I think, symbiotic cycle that helps others to achieve. So
yeah, and I appreciate our partnership and what we can do, not only what you all are doing with students, but also what we get to do together, right? And so we want to share with our audience tuning in a little bit more about what that is. Liesl, and then in terms of like your own career background, any tips or anything that you would want to share with our audience in terms of your background? How did you get to become, vice president of being able to do fundraising and development for such a large organization?
Sure. It's interesting. I mean, and so my background, my pronouns are she, hers. I'm very much a Midwestern. I'm from Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm German, Irish, Italian.
Fellow Hoosier in the house.
Hoosier. Okay. And I was always a creative. So I studied at Indiana University and I double majored in studio art and art history. Graduated 2001 and I took a job at the Indianapolis Museum of Art. And I was an independent artist, picked up work in the theater community, learned to play guitar and so forth. But what was wonderful was having mentors along the way, like in an early career, in my early, right out of college life, that helped me see the ropes and really allowed some experiences that I wouldn't have otherwise had. I'm thinking like at the art museum, I had an opportunity to courier a Monet painting from Florida all the way to Canada. And, it's just, the meaning of the word focus, right? When you have as priceless as that kind of artwork that you're managing and in charge of, and also working with people and, creating that trust together. Like, I'm going to do this and then, we're going to interact in this way. And there was a trust and a relationship that had to be built when I found that I was working with a team at the art museum. So here's the thing. I got married to my hometown sweetheart and we bought a house in Brownsburg, Indiana. And then we were looking at each other like, is this what we're going to do? And you have to have that kind of conversation in your mid-20s. And we realized, no, this isn't everything. And we want to see more. And so he gets into a master's of fine arts and acting program at the University of South Carolina in Columbia. All right, y'all, that's where I picked up y'all, right?
Y'all.
And I applied for this position I thought I was sure I'd get. It was an administrative assistant job in the College of Nursing at university. And then who would become my mentor, another strong female, Ruth Siegler, says, don't apply. We appreciate your application for the admin assistant, but we want you to consider this other job. And that was for the director of development. And what happened was they gave me an opportunity to pick up philanthropy and fundraising and show me those ropes. And it was a steep learning curve. I am not going to lie. But I was given that opportunity. And, 15 years later, I'm still doing that work because of someone who believed in me, right? I had that strong mentor and she gave me an opportunity and, you work hard and you show up. And so that's what ended up becoming my life's work. And so fast forward, we got to Chicago and I had 2 offers. I was looking at UIC and NEIU. And there was something about the university that really resonated with me. I mean, really by comparison, it was like, okay, these are the students we're serving. And this is a program that's being built, and I'm a creative, right? I want to build and to work and create new traditions. And so long story, that's where we are. Yeah.
No, and I love that, Liesl, because when you share your story, and I love when our guests are sharing their stories because you're able to hear how your skill sets are transferable, right? You talk about starting off in the arts and how you're applying that creative side of work, of background that you have to be able to do development and fundraising for a large institution, which you're doing an amazing job. And which takes me to my next point. And those of you tuning in, feel free to comment, to have any questions, to share with those that you think can get some nuggets out of this conversation. Is us is launching our end of year fundraising campaign, right? And we're super excited that we're focused 100% on all of the funds to go towards scholarships for college students across the country. And we get to do this in partnership with the NEIU Endowment. And this is our ASE Dr. Vinny Caraballo Fund. And we're not, we've given scholarships here and there, but we're going big next year, right? Next year, we're celebrating 40 years for us as an organization. So we will be awarding 40 scholarships for students across the country. But we need everybody's help to help us fundraise, right? We started during Hispanic Heritage Month, but we're formally launching now during our end of year campaign. And as partners of ASE, Liesl, what would you say is especially important that we are providing more scholarships, right, to students?
You know what? I think that's such a critical question, and especially now. So we know that things are getting a little better with the pandemic, right? I mean, things are a little bit more back to normal. And what's lovely is that, we're all super familiar with how to do virtual, right? But as you, Patricia, know, as ASE knows, as we do at Northeastern, the students that we're serving have been disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. And this didn't start with the pandemic, right? There's systems, right? I mean, access to resources, to healthcare, to education, to job opportunities. Those are things that the students we serve, there's barriers. And I think we understand that. And that's part of the work that we do, is to break down those barriers. And I mentioned before that a lot of our students, they're already coming from lower income homes, working 1, 2, and even 3 jobs. I know students at Northeastern working that many jobs. And so the other piece is that we know that, at least at Northeastern, 30% of the students who might have applied here and been admitted aren't going to come. They don't go to university at all. So that's the piece that we are facing.
30%?
30% of the students who applied and didn't end up coming cited that they're not going to go to university this year. So this is absolutely in line with what we are seeing across the country. Yeah. But we also know that sitting out a year, and this is where the ASE Vinny Caraballo Scholarship makes such a huge difference. Sitting out a year means that sets them back. And we know, I was looking up, it was a Georgetown University study that measured how much impact a bachelor's degree has on the course of one's life. And in terms of like dollars over your career, with a bachelor's degree, you can earn 31% more than workers who have an associate's, or 74% more than someone who's got a high school diploma. That's huge. And so, I mean, what we understand with the access that a scholarship allows, if it's $500, if it's $5,000, that can be the difference between someone being able to stay on that educational path or to sit it out. And so we also know too, I mean, I talked about the impact of a bachelor's degree, right? That's not just going to change the lives of a person. Yep. We know, and that changes the lives of their kids, the lives of their kids' kids, and it becomes an intergenerational act to obtain education and to improve your socioeconomic status. So that's what I love. That's what's happening here, and that's what I love about your big, bold goal. 40 years of ASE and 40 scholarships for Vinny Caraballo students, scholarship recipients across the country. So
because we have to do more, and that's our campaign, where it's ASE más to do more. And so we are going to do more, and it's not just 2 more, 3 more. We're going to do a total of 40, 2,500 scholarships. And so we need everyone's help to help fundraise. But to your point, Liesl, the need is even greater, right? On top of all of the disparities and the barriers that were already there. We've also seen a lot of data and research around the increase of mental health, right, within this college group, well, all groups, but a higher incidence within the college student group demographic. But we've also seen that the number of Latino students attending college has nearly doubled from 1.4 to 3.27 million. And so there's a need. So we see you, we want to be able to support you, and we need, reach out, right, to your ASE familia, to your Northeastern Illinois familia. We are here and we want to make sure that you're successful, because to Liesl's point, if you're able to support and earn an education, right, it has a ripple effect for family, your community, and generations to come, right? Which is why it's so critical that we are providing scholarship, because financial challenges are kind of the top ones. And I saw a comment show up that I didn't get to read from Josue in terms of his uncle, and initially attended Malcolm X and transferred to NEIU, got his X-ray tech degree. Uh, he has a great career. So NEIU has the summary is a special place in his heart. Jose, thank you so much for taking the time to share this story and say how that had an impact on your entire family, right? And that's super powerful. So thank you for sharing, Josue.
Thank you, Josue.
Wow.
Very generous. I love it. I love it. I love hearing the stories of impact that have happened, and in fact, your uncle. So thank you for sharing that. Very good.
Yeah, yeah. And I know in the spirit of development and fundraising for impact and for cause, why do you
Right.
think it's critical that people consider giving? And I always say any gift is never too small or too big, right? That it makes a difference.
Yeah, and you know what? That's great about philanthropy as a whole, right? Because I could, donate, some amount of money, $50 to someone, but that
Mhm.
has an impact on one person. When you give whatever you can to an organization like HACE, like I
Mhm.
talk about every day in my role in creating scholarships opportunities for Northeastern students, that's influencing programs and capacity that creates that change opportunity for so many people. I mean,
Mhm.
how big is your network right now? How big is ASE as a whole?
85,000 across the country.
That's incredible. And in fact, I love that number because that is just really close to how many alumni Northeastern has. We have 87,000
Wow.
alums, throughout our organization. And so, no, I mean, but thinking about being a participant in an organization that knows
Mhm.
exactly how to accomplish and to make change and how to support. So that's where I think that it's maybe a small investment on your part that is a huge return, because you
Yeah.
know and you can see the return on that investment throughout what you're doing, the updates that you have on a regular basis. So I mean, that's what's motivating. That's
Yeah.
what people will pick up on, that whether you're able to give a little or a lot, there are you are adding to that overall impact, and you're part of something that's much larger.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So much needed. And if we have any questions or comments, we'll take them now. We have a few minutes to wrap up. And Liesl, again, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Dr. Gloria Gibson, who's the president of NEIU, for all the great work that she's doing and leading the way for the university. We also have a board, Olga Camargo, who serves on your foundation board as well,
Yes.
right? So we're all family here, and it's great to see how we're all working together to make an impact on our students. And so, thank you. Yes, ripple effect to create change. Thank you, Tokaya, Patricia, who's on there.
Hace más. I love it. I love it.
We have to do more, right? More scholarships. We need to do more of our employer partners and university accountable, right? In terms of creating change. And that's the equity piece. Liesl, you talked about systemic barriers. And so it's about taking it to the next level. We have to do more and hace más into 2022. It'll be a big year. We want to fundraise and get those 40 students in honor of our ASIS 40th anniversary awarded, and give them the financial support. Not only they need, we just have so much bright talent out there, right? That just needs that extra push or support. And so we're excited to be able to do that with this end of year fundraising campaign. And with all that being said, Liesl, what would you say you're most hopeful for as we wrap up 2021?
Oh, there's so much. I'm always full of hope. I'm a glass half full kind of person, but I hope that as you know, pieces return to normal. Like I have two little kids at home, right? I mean, so
Yeah.
they're just signed them up for their vaccine appointments this next week. But things will continue to get back to normal. But I know that we will not forget what we have learned and how we have supported each other over the course of the last 300,000 years, it feels like. I mean, but since the pandemic began. And so I want to take those lessons about how we can work together, even when we're in boxes or remote, and be able to really value each other in terms of the roles that we play and the ways that we can offer like even little acts of kindness and support and generosity. That resonates with me, and that's something that I'm going to hang on to in this next year. And so, I'm wishing HACE a very, very happy 40th anniversary, 2022. Can you believe it? So, but we'll be with you all the way. And we're so grateful for the impact that you make of the work you're doing.
Thank you, Liesl, for joining us, for your partnership. I love, the small acts of kindness, because I think it's important that we remind ourselves and how much the small acts of kindness can make a difference for people and for one another. Mil gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of you tuning in. Until next time. Hasta la próxima. Take care.
Take care.
Big hug, Liesl. Take care.